Francesco, you better not mess this up. The Vancouver Canucks have lost yet another hockey game in regulation, and as a result, they are last in the National Hockey League in terms of points and points percentage. Yup, that's exactly it, folks. The Vancouver Canucks are last place. And I absolutely love the job that Adam Foote has done with this team. You know how sometimes when you have a bad team, a bad season, sometimes the vibes are just down in the dumps. You can see the body language from some of the players, or maybe even most of the players. You can see the verbal language expressed by the coaching staff. You can see frustration bubbling underneath the surface of a hockey team. But with the Vancouver Canucks, aside maybe just Quinn Hughes by himself, I don't really get the sense that there is any bubbling, tempting, toxic frustration underneath all the bravado here. It's not like last year where you could tell just based off of the interviews and the body language that something was off. Oh, turns out Elias Pettersson and JT Miller were fighting. Crazy. That took a toll on Tocchet, that took a toll on Hughes. You could see in the media, Tocchet saying things, oh, Petey this, Petey that, we need to reprogram the way he thinks the game. We need to get him to a routine. We need to do all this micro-analyzing and micro-tinkering. We need to adjust every single individual thought that he has in order to mold him into becoming an effective hockey player, rather than trying to expand on the talent that he does have. There was a lot of underlying elements of dissatisfaction in those comments. But now, with Adam Foote at the helm, as we had mentioned in the Tank Commander video a few days ago, this is almost perfect, because Adam Foote is not blaming his players in any way. He is not throwing anybody under the bus in any form. He is not even making a slight comment that insinuates that a guy is not playing up to his standard, or that he's unsatisfactory, or that he needs to be better. Adam Foote's approach is, we're just hurt. That's the reason we're last. We're hurt, and we don't have the guys that we need to have, therefore, what else do you expect? And because there is such an upfront bluntness in the way that Adam Foote dismisses the negative results of this hockey team, it's come across in the way that we read and react to a lot of the news. By all accounts, it seems like the Vancouver Canucks team itself is pretty close, even with Quinn Hughes. Tyler Myers, Elias Pettersson, Besser, DeBrusk, it seems like these are all just guys that like being around each other. It's why Besser, Demko, and Garland all re-signed contracts to stay here. But now, the team is last. And I don't get the sense that anybody in that locker room is, pissed off to the moon and back. They're getting into fights at practice or whatever. You can say, oh, that's a bad thing. If these guys are okay with losing, if they're complacent with where they're at, if they don't have a burning desire to get better and to come back and to start winning games, then what are you going to do as a professional hockey player? I understand that sentiment. I do. But I think at the same time you have to reasonably ask yourself, the Vancouver Canucks, as assembled, with the players they have and the players they lost due to injury, if these guys were 100% healthy, are they a playoff contender? You could say, maybe. You could probably even say, they'd probably comfortably be in a wildcard spot. If Chytil was available for 82 games, and if he played up to his standard, and if Demko was available for the 50-something games that an NHL starter should be able to be available for, then okay, Vancouver could be in a wildcard contending spot. But then what? Is that team good enough to win a cup? Is it really the best strategy to just have the anything can happen if we make the playoffs mentality? That's essentially what we've been seeing out of this new regime. I know Jim Benning is gone, and that was the old meme, but that's essentially the idea that Adam Foote and co. have presented to Canucks fans via the media. But once you get into the playoffs, all you gotta do is just see what happens. So now, there is a scapegoat. when they're not in playoff contention and they're not going out there and comfortably sitting in a wildcard spot. They're dead last in the National Hockey League. They are worse than Nashville. They are worse than Calgary. I didn't even mention the gosh darn score of the game. Oh yeah, they lost 4-1 to Utah today. Kevin Lankinen let in however many goals he let in. He let in 3 and 17 shots against. Not bad. Meanwhile, Arshdeep Bains goes out there and scores his first of the year. Thank goodness Bains finally got the monkey off of his back. He deserves it. That's what you gotta do. Just go to the front of the net, get some tips, and beat Karel Vejmelka point blank. Of course, it wasn't enough to get the job done. You still had goals from Sergachev, Schmaltz, Kevin Stenlund, and John Marino. But hey, this was a pretty good goal. Jonathan Lekkerimäki gets his first assist on the season. Aatti Raty continues piling the points up. So obviously, I think a lot of Canucks fans are going to look at this game with rose-colored glasses. Because, and I think it's very comfortable to start going out there and saying this, it's good that they lost. Get that draft pick, folks. Stay the course, folks. Adam Foote, you're doing nothing wrong. Like, what else can you get out of this team? Rookie head coach. The only other head coaching stint he had was in the Dub, and his team was absolutely terrible. Maybe we should have expected this. I wonder if Manny Malhotra was hired. Could the Vancouver Canucks have been better than they are right now? Is it really just a personnel issue? Oh, it's just the injuries. That's why we're last in the NHL. And what kind of moves are going to be done to address that? Patrick Allvin, Jim Rutherford, keep your gosh darn index fingers away from the trigger and do not trade away any sort of a draft pick or a young guy for a center who can help out in the now. Pavel Zacha, get the hell out of here. Kotkaniemi, no thank you. Stay the course. And hopefully by the end of the season, Vancouver is bad enough that they can continually drop in the standings. I say drop because I don't think they're going to be last place forever, especially with the sentiment that was revealed by Thomas Drance a few days ago, that Vancouver ownership has placed a very big emphasis on the Canucks winning games towards the end of the year, whether or not the team actually has a realistic chance of making the playoffs, or if they're just dead last. Hey, doesn't matter if we're last. Win the games at the end of the year, because that's the time when season ticket holders renew their season tickets and they want to get those guaranteed sales. So, yeah, it's all business at the end of the day, but sometimes, the tides of what really is are strong enough to totally take down the ideas of what could be. Sandcastles built on the beach that just come crumbling down with every other injury and every passing week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vancouver Canucks have lost 4-1 to the Utah Hockey Club Mammoth, and they are last place in the NHL. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Francesco, don't mess this up. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.